Hi and welcome to this video lesson. Today I want to talk to you about the song A Horse with No Name by the band America. At first glance this seems like one of the easiest songs you could possibly imagine. It's built on only two very simple chords. However, as with so many songs that seem simple, when you take a closer look they actually require far more skill than a beginner is usually capable of when just following tablature. That's why I'm going to show you how this song is really played step by step in a way that's easy to understand. And as always, I've also created a step-by-step guide that you can download for free via the link in the video description or the first pinned comment. Let's first take a look at the two chords that make up the entire song. On the one hand we have E minor, and then this chord here, which is called D6-9 with F sharp in the bass. That's quite a confusing name, even for some players who've been playing guitar for a while. So let me briefly explain why this chord has that name. Our root note is D, that's this open D string here, and with our ring finger we play the fifth, which is A. That note always belongs to D major or D minor, so it doesn't change the name of the chord yet. But up here we have the open B and high E strings. The B note is the sixth of D, meaning the sixth interval above the root, which is 9 semitones away. The E note is the ninth, which is 14 semitones above our root. And when we play an additional note below the root of a chord, we write a slash after the chord name followed by that note. So we can say D6-9 over F sharp or D6-9 with F sharp in the bass. Now I don't want to speculate too much, but I'm pretty sure that when the guitarists from America wrote this song, they didn't sit there thinking, a D6-9 with F sharp in the bass would go great with E minor. They probably just realized that when you move both fingers of your E minor chord, one string up and one string down, it just sounds amazing. My advice for you as a beginner is experiment a lot when it comes to new chords, but as your technical skills grow, also try to learn a bit more about music theory, starting for example with intervals, which we just talked about. Contrary to what many musicians think, and I can tell you this from my own experience, learning music theory does not kill creativity. Quite the opposite, it fuels it. Many people associate theory with boredom or hard work, but believe me, it can actually be fun, because in music we can immediately apply and enjoy what we learn. If you'd like to learn more about music theory and how to use it to boost your creativity while having fun, check out the link in the description and book my online guitar course. You can also send me a message first to schedule a personal chat. Now in the very first step, let's take a look at the rhythm for our E minor chord. It's a simple eighth note rhythm that at the song's average tempo of about 123 BPM isn't too difficult to play, at least if you strum it the way we'll do in step 1. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I like to explain rhythms using the hydrogen drum machine, a super helpful free tool you can also download via the link in the description or the first pinned comment. Here you can see the hydrogen drum machine. What we'll do now is program the accents for the E minor chord using the stick element. We'll place an accent on beat 1, then beat 2, 2 and, 3, the 3 and, the 4, and the 4 end. The advantage here is that even if you're a total beginner, you'll now be able to strum the rhythm evenly and cleanly with a metronome, and thanks to the stick element, there's no room for doubt or timing errors. Once you're more familiar with the song, you can mute the stick element or just play along with the metronome. For now, try playing just the E minor chord, but slow the tempo down. Around 80 BPM should be fine. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and... Next, let's take a look at the D6-9 with F sharp in the bass chord, because this one has a different rhythm. This is a very syncopated rhythm. Syncopation means leaving out an expected beat or accent. As you can see here, I'm programming a hit on the 1, then the 8th note after the 1, but no hit on beat 2, that's the syncopation, then on the 2 and, skipping the downbeat 3 once again, but then hitting the and after the 3, and finally 2 hits on the 4 and the 8th note after the 4. Here it's especially important to practice slowly because many beginners need to get used to not emphasizing the numbered beats, but rather the spaces in between. A quick tip: if you can't play a rhythm evenly along with a metronome, even at a slow speed, put the guitar down for a moment and just clap and count the rhythm out loud. From my experience teaching many beginners, especially those who didn't actually have a strong sense of rhythm, focusing first on clapping and counting before playing usually helps overcome those difficulties bit by bit. Depending on how much you struggle with rhythm, it can take a while and requires patience. But it's always worth investing that time because rhythm makes up 50% of making music. You'll never become a great guitarist if you neglect it. When playing the second chord, make sure that on beats 2 and 3, where you don't strum, you rest your palm on the strings to mute them. It might help to first practice these motions without a metronome, but still try to play evenly. Don't speed up the easy parts or take long pauses on the hard ones. So you'll go... It's always better to learn something once the right way, meaning with even rhythm, than to have to learn it twice later because you rushed or paused inconsistently. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Next, we'll combine the first and second chords. It's really important that on the last eighth note, both when switching from the first to the second chord and then when going back, you lift your fingers slightly and strum the open strings. That's what keeps chord changes sounding clean and synchronized. So in this case, you'll play 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You can apply this to any song. Again, start without a metronome if needed, but play evenly. Take your time, go as slow as you need. Now let's just put both chords together. As you can see here, I've programmed the E minor and D6-9 chord like this into the song grid. For our first attempt at playing this, I've set the metronome to 60 BPM. So I've basically half the tempo here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can gradually increase the tempo from around 60 to 80 BPM up to 120 or 123 BPM while keeping all the things I mentioned in mind. Are your hands synchronized? Are your chord changes clean? Do you stay in tempo? Are you muting on beats 2 and 3 of the D6-9 chord? But now we come to the final step, the one that separates good guitarists from great ones. Even if you can now play along with the song at full tempo, there are still a few key details missing that make it sound like the original America recording. The first element is string separation. If you want to really grow as a rhythm guitarist and lock in tightly with the bass and drums, your rhythm section, you have to learn how to separate your strums according to the drum accents. If you want to learn more about this, check out my rhythm guitar video, which I've linked here. I don't want to make this video unnecessarily long, so I'll just say, watch that one to really understand why we separate the strings the way we do. Now take a look at the updated tablature. We're still playing the same accents, but now on beat 1, we hit mostly the lower strings. On beat 2, the higher strings. On beat 3 again, the lower strings, and then on beat 4, back to the higher ones. But because the D6-9 with F sharp in the bass chord is so syncopated, the string separation doesn't apply there. It's only for the E minor chord. Again, start very, very slowly and go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Then either use the hydrogen drum machine or, if you're more advanced, a metronome and gradually bring it up to tempo. Let's play this thing again, but this time with 90 beats per minute. Next, we'll add a bit of palm muting to the E minor chord. That's essential if you want to capture the same effect the guitarists from America achieved. Practice the palm muting slowly. You can see here in the camera angle exactly how I'm doing it. And for the final step, let's go back to the second chord and make sure that when we mute the strings on beats 2 and 3, we also create just a little click by slightly tapping our palm against the bass strings. You don't have to do this all the time, but sometimes it creates this nice percussive effect. These are the fine details that turn a good guitarist into a great one, and that's certainly true for the players in America as well. I'll now play the final version for you once at 80 BPM and then again at 120 BPM. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future lessons, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and bye.